Hi everybody, I'm Alan from UDAV. Today we're going to do a quick installation. Probably not quick, it's going to take all day. This is an EasyViz security camera. I'm not endorsing their product. This is just what I got from my own house. They're not paying me to do this or anything like that. Anyways, these are analog cameras, 1080p analog cameras. I was kind of disappointed. I thought they're digital. I forgot to check to see if they're analog or digital. I got analog. I really wanted digital, but I bought this camera set like 2 years ago, and I'm finally getting around to installing it. So, yeah, I'm stuck with what I've got. Can't return it. Anyways, being that it's analog, we're going to run analog cabling. This is the analog video connector, right? So for a camera, you have to have video, and you have to have power. So that's why this sucker has two cables on it. One's power, one's video. This one here, you know that wire that you screw into the back of your TV? We call that a coax cable. All coax cables are the same, and it depends on what connector you put on the end that determines the function of that cable. So if I put a screw-on connector, we call that an F connector, it can carry cable TV. If I put an RCA connector on the end of that wire, I can have it do component video, standard video, things like that. Or I can do this, which is a BNC. I can put a BNC connector on the end of a coax cable, and I can use it to carry video, which is I'm going to do. So they send wiring. This is the wiring that they send with it. This is the video cable. This is the power cable. They run together like this. Now, I don't like to run the wires that they send. Number one, because they have connectors on the end. They're just cheap wires. But they also have connectors on the end, and when you're doing custom installations, it's really hard to get these fat connectors through the walls without like totally destroying the house or putting giant holes. So what I do is I run my own cabling. I'm actually going to run a lot of cabling. I was hoping to get digital cameras, and I forgot to check, like I said. So I'm going to run a wire for future installations that will handle my digital cameras. So that's going to be a Cat 6 cable. You can use Cat 5 if you want. I'm going to use Cat 6 because it's a little thicker. It's going to do a little better job of carrying power over long distance. I'm going to put in a Cat 6. I'm going to put in a coax. I'm going to put in a 16 gauge 2 conductor for power. I actually went around the house and drilled in all my holes where I'm going to put have the wiring come out for the cameras. I wasn't planning on making this video, then I decided to last minute. So there's nothing special. I just took my drill with a metal bit. I've got a metal soffit. This is actually really thin metal. Your installations probably aren't going to be like this. I don't love it, and I'm kind of even worried. It's so thin, I'm kind of even worried if it's going to be strong enough to hold up the screws for the cameras. They might come out, and I might have to find another option later. But anyways, I went ahead, I drilled in those holes right there, and any of you guys that have been in your attic, you guys will know that when the attic starts to go towards the outside of the house, this is your ceiling, and this is your roof, that as you start to get the outside of the house, it pinches down, and it's super tight. You can't get a drill down in there to drill down. So that's why I drilled up. That's one reason. The other reason, I don't want to climb over into this corner. It's going to be really tight. So what I do is I use a fish tape. So I'm going to take this fish tape and I'm going to send it towards the center of the house to an area that's a lot easier for me to grab. So in my case, a lot of your installations aren't going to be like this. In my case, this is flat right here, and this goes right up into my attic. This is really accessible. It's pretty rare to find a situation like this, so I'm kind of lucky. I do have a difficult install around the corner. I'll show you guys how to do those. Now, remember, every house is unique, so just because what I'm doing here, it might not be your same exact style, but it could give you ideas on how you can do your own. So I drilled up, this goes right into my attic. I'm going to take the fish tape, I'm going to set it towards the middle. You can see a sucker going right in. Okay, I'm going to go up into the attic. I'm going to hand this off to my daughter. She's going to help me finish pulling the wires. I'm going to go up into the attic, show you what it looks like up there, show you how I'm going to do the install, and then we'll start pulling in some wires. So when you're in the attic, it can be easy to get lost. As you see, my attic is very low on insulation. All you commenters, I know, tons of wires, or not very much insulation. I know. Anyways, I'm waiting for all my wires to go in before I do my installation, so this is one of the things I want to get done. So I need that person to make some noise so I can find out where to go. So Taylor, go ahead and wiggle that thing. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can hear it. It's starting to wiggle around. That's going to help me orientate. I'm going to get oriented. You guys can see that wire. Wiggle it all around. See how wire's kind of wiggling all around right there? That's the fish tape. I don't want to go climbing over that. That is not nearly as tight as most of your guys' attics are going to be. I know. But I still don't want to go climbing through that stuff. So I'm going to try to get her to get me that glow rod as close as I can. I got it. Breathing in all this crap. Wear a mask for sure. Not mask sucks. So I've got the end of my fish tape here. My fish tape has a little loop bent on the end. What I like to do, I don't want to have any boxes of wire in the attic, and it's easier for me to have the boxes outside. So what I do is I use the fish tape to pull the string in. So I use this string. It's called electrician string pulling line. You get this at Home Depot. I like this stuff a lot. I use a lot of this stuff. So pushing the fish tape, tied on the string, then I'm gonna have her pull the fish tape out, and now I've got a string, and then I'll use the string to pull the wire back in. Ugh, wear a mask. I know this seems kind of like a backwards way to do it, but I found that it's easier and faster. So you guys don't have to, but it works for me. All right, Taylor! Taylor! Pull it! Cut the string. I don't want the string to come out when I'm out there messing around with it. I don't want the string to come out, and I don't want to pull any more out of my bucket, so I'm wasting it. So I just cut it, tie it to the stud right here. If I wanted to tie it to the stud, I'd tie it to myself. But I'll tie it right there. I'm gonna go out and tie on the wire. This is the string I have going up into the attic, tied onto the stud in the attic. It's going up through the roof here above my head. Here are my wires. Cat 6 cable for a future digital camera, analog, this is for my current camera, analog RG6 coax, and a 16 gauge 2 conductor for my power. So it's important that we tie these on right. It really is frustrating when you do all the work of getting in the string and then you lose it and have to do it all over again. It's a pain in the butt. So notice how I've got these things staggered. I've got the 16 gauge back here, coax here, and then my Cat 5 is the longest. Pick any one that you want to be the longest. It doesn't matter that much. That's just how it fell. Now I'm going to overlap the string to the wires by about a foot using electrical tape. Electrical tape. Don't get masking tape or duct tape. Electrical tape, okay? And then I'm going to start taping. I'm going to try to go as, I'm going to try to go as tight as I can without breaking it, like I just did. Going all the way up. And then every time I get to the end of one of the wires, see I'm getting to the end of the speaker cable right here, I'm going to kind of layer it just a little bit thicker right there so that it kind of makes a ramp going onto that wire so it doesn't make a catch. Now, in this case, I've got a 1/2 inch hole. I'm not going to be a problem, right? I can feed the wires right in, but some of you guys, might have a harder time because you might be going into a hole, going around corners, going up over studs and pinch points. For my case, this isn't really necessary. I can just kind of slap it together. But for you guys might really need this. So once again, nice and tight. Right here, I'm going into this is the tip of the RG6. Gonna put a little ramp on that sucker a little bit. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And then when I get to the end of the wire here, same thing. Okay, I'm gonna go up the string a little bit because I want it to be a ramp. Anything that can catch on something will. A lot of cars driving by, dude, sorry. So, bam, like that. And because I'm not a terrorist, I'm gonna fold that tape over on itself because it's really hard to get the tape off, especially when you're in an attic, okay? So that's what it looks like. Woo. And it's a pretty smooth transition all the way. It's not perfect, but it's moving pretty smooth, and it's not gonna come apart. It's not gonna come apart when you guys are fishing the wire. So with that being said, I'm gonna have Taylor push the wire up into the ceiling as I pull the string. That's another thing. The person on the ground shouldn't just stand here and be like, oh dude, look at the string going up in the ceiling. It's gonna get caught. Okay, so the person on the ground should be pulling it out of the box or off the reel, whatever it is you guys are doing, and should be pushing it into the hole, trying to make sure that there's no friction, right? Especially here, since we've got that metal ceiling, that edge might try to cut the wires. So Taylor's going to push the wire into the hole as I'm pulling it to try to keep as much pressure off of those corners. Now that the wire is tied on outside, and I've got my string right here, I'm ready to start pulling. Okay, Taylor, I'm going to start pulling. You ready? Here we go. Okay guys, now that I've got the wire in my hand, I cut the string off. I need to run it. I need to run it to my destination. My destination is right behind me, about 15 feet. But I don't want to run it like on this pathway right here, even though this is the easiest place for me to run it. I don't want to run it right down here because there's a lot of traffic. Everybody that comes into the attic comes right down this highway in the middle of my attic. So I'm going to run mine on top of the duct, kind of off here to the side, to try to keep as many wires off of this path as possible. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead. So to measure wire, what you do is you go arm lengths. So one arm length like this, that's 5 feet. So that's 5. So to keep it nice and straight, I'm going to coil it here. And I'm going to call this one done until I'm ready to drop them all down. This one's a little different. On the other camera that you guys just saw, this lid right here went straight into the attic. This one doesn't. There's actually a wall that goes up a little bit, and then there's a wooden plate. So I can't just drill through here. Actually, I tried and I kind of messed up my ceiling a little bit. The hole here is a little bigger, but my camera will cover that, so I'm not super worried. But I've got to get into there. So the only way for me to get into there is I'm gonna have to go into the attic, and I'm gonna have to drill outwards. We're gonna show you guys how to do. I want to show you guys this. This is a glow rod. Okay, I've got 2 glow rods stuck together, so I've got 20 feet of glow rod right here. And this right here, this chain, this is called the ball chain. This is every custom installer's best friend. We use the crap out of these things. They come in 10-foot lengths. So I think they call them, when you buy them in a package, I think it's called a wet noodle and retriever. And this is what they would consider the wet noodle. So what I've done is I've got about 2 feet taped to the end of this glow rod. And when I drill the hole, I'm going to push the glow rod through the hole, which is going to insert 2 feet of ball chain into the hole, and then I can use a magnet on the other side to try to fish it out. Now I know that sounds kind of confusing. We're going to walk you guys through it, but if you're going to do some custom installs, this is a really cheap tool. I can't remember what I paid, probably 20 bucks. I go through these things a lot because they break, and the magnets break and they wear out with time, but one of the best tools that we use, ball chain and magnetic retriever, or I think they call it wet noodle and retriever. This sucks. I'm in the corner. Luckily my attic is not insulated, or this would suck even more. Here's my glow rod and my ball chain on the end. So the reason that I'm using 20 feet of glow rod, I'm using 20 feet of glow rod because it's going that way, so I don't have to climb back into this stinking tight crevice again. And then that piece of wood, that's what I need to drill through. If I drill through that piece of wood, I can get into my soffit. This is very unique. I have a really weird house. Said 100 times today. So pretty simple. I've got a drill bit. I think it's a 5/8 bit on a 12-inch extension. This sucks. Woo! That sucked. Now I take the glow rod with the ball chain on the back, push it into the hole. Get as much ball chain. Get in there, ball chain. Put a bunch in there. All right. So I've got about 2 feet of ball chain through that hole, and I've got the hole drilled. All I have to do now is fish out the ball chain on the other side. In a perfect world, I fish that glow rod this way with the ball chain on the end of it, okay? So I should have a ball chain somewhere in this vicinity, and this is my retriever. This is like half of a retriever. It's supposed to have a lot longer. The one that you would buy was a lot longer. It's twice as long, and it's got a magnet on both sides. But I use mine a lot. Snapped it and just dealing with this little dude now. So, but it's magnetic, and the ball chain is magnetic. So if I stick this up in that hole, I should be able to like fish it around. It should grab the ball chain. I should be able to pull it out. And then I can attach a string to the ball chain, pull the glow rod out with the ball chain attached, with the string attached, and then I've got a string in the attic, and just like the other one, pull the wire in over to the drop. Let's give it a shot. I hear it. I hear it already. I hear it already. Oh, it's like Christmas, dude. Boom, shakalaka. Right there. There's my ball chain. All right, tie the string on, tie the wires on. Boom! This is the hardest pull of the day, right here. And aside from like crawling across the sucky attic, this wasn't that bad. Hopefully I gave you guys an idea. I guess I should mention, some of you guys might be watching and you might be asking, why doesn't he just tie the wire onto the ball chain and pull it in like that? These ball chains have a pull strength of like 10 pounds. They're super weak. They snap. So that's why we use the ball chain to pull in the string, then we use the string to pull in the wire.